the way that we're gonna section everything off, we're gonna be working vertically. I'm gonna work across the head shape. I'm going to work round graduation. What round graduation is, when you look at the head shape on the top, that's your line. When people talk about round or square or triangular, whatever they're saying, they mean from the top view, the horizontal line in a haircut, not the vertical line. I wanna make sure this part of the cut has a round shape to it. Or what we say in the FSE digital haircutting system is it's an open shape because it flows with the head and off the face. Vertical section, focusing on a traveling guide. And I'll explain that as we go. Here, vertical. The rule for me, something I learned a long time ago, is your thumb is always moving in the direction you're going. So if I'm here, it's gonna go this way. If I'm in the middle going to the right, it's gonna be pointing to the right. So my hand will be down, my elbow will be up on the right side, my elbow will be down, my hand will be pointing up on the left side. If you're a lefty, it's the opposite. So here, if I'm here, that means I'm layering all of this, so there's not much of a buildup of weight. I want a little buildup of weight, so I gotta drop to make sure that just this top area here has the graduation. So right in here, this is 90 degrees. I wanna drop here, just a slight graduation in the haircut, and you gotta make sure you pick the right length. And we're gonna start that vertical line. And what I'll do is once I get that cut, I'll comb it to kind of see where it starts to bevel. So I'm looking at right about this area here, and that's about where I want it to do. And then you can see where it gets a little fringier because we kept our vertical line and we let the head shape do the movement. Now, how do we travel? I'm gonna pull the guide over to the new section and mimic that same angle. I just continue working. Now we're on section 3. So I pull section 2 over to section 3. I'll just do a little cross-checking just to see where we're at. Now, again, notice that I comb into it to get the hair organized, but then I scoop underneath to comb the guide over to the new hair to make sure I stay consistent with my horizontal shape or line. Now you can see the graduation in here starts building on that curve, and then this part here tucks in and gets fringy around the ear. Guide is going to come from the same place. So still, see my finger angle changes now. Now my thumb is pointing in the other direction. My elbow is down. But again, comb the guide over top of the new section. Keep that vertical line running down the head same way. Once you have that length towards the bottom, then you can go in and soften and detail the rest of it. So let me show you guys. Usually I'll just grab like my tri-razor because this is a little more of just selecting areas of the head and going through and cutting into them. So here, I'm just like kind of softly cutting into it. All right, so now we let down our right side panel here. I comb this panel down, and we are still going to be working round sections. So now I'm going to stand to the side of my client, and I'm going to work vertical sections with a rounded horizontal line. So vertical, we're going to continue kind of the flow through. Now I'm going to straighten up a little bit, because if I continued this line all the way through, I'd get a very heavy buildup of weight right around this area. So I want to shift my vertical line to now be more like this, and we'll work through it that way. And we're going to take pie-shaped sections across. Here, one piece of the pie. If you guys like my cool pink metallic tone. We now have these on freesaloneducation.com. They're from Japan. It's called the 701 comb. Now I'm gonna pivot all the way around the head. That becomes my guide. Push my guide over to the new section. Go to section 3. Push 2 over to 3. So look at this. So now that we've cut this round, it can kind of flow back if it wants, and it sits just like a bob on the back of the head. So I'm gonna do the other side, same way. My body position will stay the same, but the biggest difference will be that I'll now be pulling the hair towards the new section instead of pushing it. So I'll work vertically across all the way around, grabbing that new or that old section, pulling it to the new. Vertical section, piece of the pie. I like where everything is. I like the weight, it doesn't look too heavy. So that means that we chose our vertical line well. Now we just gotta finish this thing off. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna work diagonal back partings all the way up through the top. And I'm just gonna work and cut the hair to flow backwards off the face. Diagonal back. So I wanna show you guys kind of how I scoop this up. I can see my guide falls out from behind. I come through, cut and connect that line. You can see that gives me a little length because of the extra elevation I did. Another little tip here. We're always on a round. So because I'm on this round, I don't want to just bring everything over to me because look at that. It starts to over direct the front. Now what happens in the front, you get a buildup of weight that you didn't want. Make sure that that line, whatever line you're creating, you work around that corner. Cut into that corner as much as you need to if you don't want that weight in the front. Now we're working parietal ridge. Because we're at the parietal ridge, which is right here, I don't want to keep elevating higher and higher because I'll never build up a weight line, and haircuts benefit from a weight line in certain areas. So as I get to this point right here on the parietal ridge, I won't keep rounding the hair because I don't need to create a bowl cut. So now I'm going to allow it to kind of do what it wanted to do in the first place. Let the head shape take over a little bit, get a little bit of length in the front, and also start building my weight line by dropping that elevation down so that it's not super high. So here, come in here, scoop up my guide, bringing it straight towards me. And now I'm feeling like I can just do a little point cutting and texturizing on the top instead of going through and just fully cutting that horizontally. I'm actually gonna create a stationary guide, changing my mind as I'm navigating through this. I'm gonna bring everything back to that point. Diagonal back. All right, we're gonna do the same thing on this side. Again, same thing, diagonal back to start. All right, let's blow dry. All right, so I'm gonna blow dry this up in the air over to kind of build the shape and the weight of the haircut. So when you think about like this back portion right here, if I wanna build up a little bit of weight or a weight line in this, I need to blow dry it up and over and get a little volume going. So all of this will come up and around, and then once it dries and I brush it back down, it'll build in that shape, okay? So you can watch that happen. All right, I'm gonna do a little round brushing. So now I've got the volume it's blown dry, it can literally go kind of like whatever way we want it to go. And that's how you know you got kind of a good solid blow dry in there, flexible base on the hair. And now, what do we think? How do we feel about that shape? How it built up? If she had a little bit wavier hair, easily just diffuse it, scrunch it, work it through.